Okay, the stream has started. All right. Extra stream. I think yesterday I said my next stream would be on Wednesday, but it's not Wednesday yet. It's Tuesday. So I don't know. Felt like I wanted to do some more work on this here hobby project, and the regularly scheduled Tuesday stuff is off for this week. So I'm gonna I think I'm gonna work on a little bit of what I said yesterday. So this like re-drilling down to what we've selected if we have to reload, and then I said then I really wanted to get to this image visualizer, but I don't yet know how I want to integrate it into my parser's UI. And I also had the thought that it would be nice to put a little bit more attention into the Lewis scripting of the parser. So I'm like, why not build up an image visualizer independently of the main GUI and drive it for now with the Lewis script. The Lewis script is just going to fetch the image out of the parser after the parser extracts the image, and then launch a sort of a standalone UI that just shows the visualizer. One unanswered question is, can a Lewis script actually open a window, or do I need to have the Lewis script launch another command, like launch another process to show that UI? So we'll see. First, let's work on this one. Consider remembering what parts of the output data composition in the GUI are expanded and try to recover those expanded states after reloading. So I think someone in chat yesterday gave me a good way, a good idea for how we can do that. So for example, if I load the simpler JSON example, let's say we had drilled down to our second favorite emote here. So like I click, let's say I have clicked on this element here, which is this is an array of elements. This is a string, and this is the contents of the string, which is the value for the second item in the list, which is a string. The list overall is here. It's the second or the third element of the overall object. The name being favorite emojis, right? If we have that selected, the idea is that if we were to like reload, which is caused by making any change to the file. So if like I changed age from 27 to 28, see when it reloads, it collapses it. It did reload the new age as 28, but it would be the equivalent of like if it remembered that we had clicked on the string, it could reopen where we were. So I think what we can do is like right before reloading, we can check what if there is a current element selected, and if it has a corresponding region in the bytes, we can kind of remember that, and after reloading, we can again drill down to that region. One difficult thing is I think the way I have this set up is drilling down selects a single byte, and like if we selected the first byte, we would end up in a sort of a different place, but maybe it doesn't matter too much. Maybe we would just pick the first selected byte. So if we had the entire list selected and then we re-drilled down, we would end up on the opening bracket of it. That's maybe close enough. So that would be in the GUI. I think it's just the main GUI. Main. I don't remember what it is. It's not main. I guess it's in app.rs. Yeah, so it's in this reload files actually. And It's only called right when some files have changed. Yeah, we can just, if we were to record here where we clicked, like maybe there's the first byte of what we have currently selected, and at the end we just pretend like we just clicked on that byte, we would end up doing the same thing. So begs the question of how do we get the first byte that's currently selected? I have to see if app actually remembers that. I don't think it does, but I think the info overlay does. Selected range token. I think the data tree also remembers, so we could ask it the selected rows. So we could like get the first selected row and then recover the origin of that. Okay, it's used in the navigation, so maybe that's close enough. Okay, so it would be something that we get from the app overlay. And we want to do this in reload, right? So let's say like, let's pretend that we have the method already. So let first world selected region, first selected byte, or we can just say selected offset. Let's pretend we have a method that gets that again, and then afterwards, I need to see what we actually do. What was it coming? There we go. Toggled my bookmarks thing. What we actually do when you actually click a byte. These are old bookmarks I don't need anymore, right? Okay. All right, so where is that? On data selected? Yeah, handle selected byte. Selected data from offset. There we go. So we could just call handle select byte. I think that's probably good enough, right? If let sum offset equal selected offset, then self.handle selected byte offset. So now it should know it's an option U64. It just doesn't, we don't have that defined yet. Let's go add that. Let's put it here. Selected offset, self, option, U64. Okay, so put a bookmark here. How are we going to figure that out? Look for a similar method that already does something similar. Hey there, Red Rank Page Crumpet. You are the first chatter. And it's almost been 10 minutes. I was starting to worry that something's wrong with the stream. Gosh, I'm not seeing any method that would actually get information about the current selection. This might be that it's a late stream. Yeah, I guess I started like an hour late, didn't I? Watching Chris's stream. Got kind of sucked into the drama that's going on. I guess I will be looking at selected range token, right? Or is it actually used when we select? And it's used to remove the highlight. Okay, so it's not really that useful for the data tree because it's a token into the hex editor. So maybe info overlay is not the proper place to. Oh, hold on. I was going to say maybe it's not the proper place to figure out what we have selected, but I forgot that it's actually data tree that has that information. So I think if we go into the data tree and ask it, we can get the information we need. Yes, selected. I can just call selected rows. Right. Yeah. Selected rows being public, I should be able to go here to my bookmark and just say self.data tree dot selected rows not select rows, selected rows dot next, I guess, dot map. We get a row token, right? And we have to end up going back to the data tree and row. Is it row or is it get row or something? I don't even remember. It's been so long since I worked on data tree. What's public in data tree? Nothing. So we have to use its methods. Not add, it's not collapse. I don't think it's rows. That gets the rows under a certain, if we know the parent row. I'm starting to think that we don't have a public method for this. So the selected rows. Use it here. Oh, rows is a public method. Oh, no. It's only to get child rows. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Well, hold on. What does the app do when you select a row? So like handle row selected, handle select data component. How does that work? Oh, it internally gets the data out of it from the row token. Okay. Oh, isn't that exactly what I want? Yeah, like this, right? Well, it would be, instead of map, it would be like and then, or no, and then. Row token. Self.data.get row token. And then again, data. It would be data.borrow.origin dot the ornamentista. See, origin is optional, so I guess we're doing an as ref map. Origin dot offset. I think I did it. So we go to the data tree. We ask it to enumerate selected rows. We just get the first one. And if it's something, then we take that row token and we look it up in our data hash. So this is a hash map from row token to the actual data component. It might not be in there, so it's optional. So if it is something, then with that data, we borrow it, go to its origin, and then because origin is an optional bitstream subset, we have to do an as ref in order to do a map, so that if origin is something, then we map that origin to an offset. So we'll end up with, okay, it's sort of hard to show, but we should end up with the optional offset. And then we're going to remember that, so it's an optional position, so that we can do handle selected byte. So this is number of bits. I think I need to divide by 8 here. But we'll see, to turn it into bytes, because I think this is a byte offset. Yeah, see how it multiplies it by 8? So I think that's right. Whoops. I think that's right. Let's try it out. If I did this right, then every time we touch the data file, it should reload and then drill back down to the first byte we had selected. So let's select something, right? Then if I go and just change that age back to 27 again, flip back, it did it. Cool. So because it's going to do the first byte, if I have more than one byte selected, like I have this entire string selected, if I go and change that back again, it should just pick the first, did it do anything? I didn't hit save. You have to actually hit save for it to do something. So yeah, I'm okay with that. It got close enough. It didn't reselect the overall string that we had selected. It went and it just picked the first character, that quote. I'm okay with that. That's good enough. So then we don't have to like remember where we were and drill down to where we were again. It'll sort of try to remember that. So I'm going to say that that's done. Woohoo! All right, now the more fun stuff, I think. I wanted to start working on a visualizer for color tables or images, because right now, if I switch over to a GIF file, so if I go to stage here and I pick this POG slide, and then I switch to the GIF configuration, we can actually get the decoded images out, but it's a huge vector of indices into a color table. It would be nice if we could take this vector and just plot them on the screen by just look for every byte, look up that index into the color table, and then draw that color on screen. So I'm thinking of making a control for eGUI that you can just give it an array, a 2D array of color values, and it'll just plot it, and then maybe have some interactive features like if you mouse over, it'll tell you what row and column you're on, and maybe if you zoom in, you can have more control about which pixel you're choosing, and might, basically a color inspector. So because I don't know exactly how I want to integrate this back, like I'm sure it's going to be something like maybe maybe there's a button that shows here instead of the value. Like maybe the button is like view or preview or something. I don't know yet. I'm instead of adding it directly into the GUI for the parser, I think I'm going to develop something on the side, get it working, and then figure out how I want to integrate it back. And then I'm thinking, rather than just like while I'm working on this image visualizer, rather than just like giving it like dummy data, why don't we just feed it the data that we're directly decoding from PogSlide? So we should get a single frame from that same GIF. So if I go and show you guys what that is again, stage, this PogSlide is just that. So we should get a single image from that, right? That's the goal. I don't know if I'll get that far today, but we'll see. I at least want to make sure that my Lua scripting still works, because my idea is rather than integrating directly into the existing GUI, we can use the Lua scripting bridge that I made, make sure, like, get it back up to working status if it's broken, and then kind of use it to extract an image. Because we know where it's going to be. It's going to be data 1, graphic control block, table-based image data, LZW stream, that value. We should be able to get that array out and at least plot it. So let's see what I can do here. Let's see if the bridge is still working. So I think under stage, I had to test Lua, right? So the way it works is you do this require, and it's going to look for whatever that string is, .so. And in this case, it should be a symbolic link to where we've actually built the bridge. I need to make sure that that link is still good, because when I copy in and out of the VM, the VM's guest OS is Linux, but the host OS is Mac OS. So it might be grabbing the symlink from Mac OS, which is a dilib instead of a .so. So I need to go check. So under stage, yeah, so we need to fix that. So I'm going to remove the bridge. And I'm sure I've done this before. Yeah, so I've already done it on, so just repeat the command so we don't have to do it ourselves. So now when I list them all, cool. So then when I do Lua, test.lua, okay, couldn't find it. So why might that be? Isn't there a bridge.so? Oh, there might not be a target release of it. Yeah, so I think to do that, I have to do cargo build release bridge bin or lib. Is it bin? No, that's a binary. Great. I thought it would be lib. Cargo build help. Okay, it is lib. Only this packages library. So do I have to say package or something? Hold on. Ah, it is package. See, why try to figure out the command when if I know I've already done it in the past, I just don't remember it. Oh, but I'll want to do the release version of that, right? Or I can just use the debug version. No, but the release version is important because parsing takes a long time. So I think I do want to do a release in front of that. So once that's built, the symlink should work, and then running Lua should work also. Waiting for the Rust compiler. Okay. Hey, it worked. I forget what we had the test Lua doing. Okay, so it's reading gif.fmt, adding it to the formats, reading lol.gif. Okay, so let's change that to pog slide. So now it will read pog slide. So that's 112 by 112. Yeah. Rubber ducking is mentioned from time to time, Camo Kid. And how are you doing? But you know what? Most people who watch the coding streamers, or when I have asked why they start watching coding streamers, it's usually because they're also a coder, and maybe they don't have someone nearby coding too, and just having someone else coding in the background is just something that makes like helps them stay on task on their work. Yeah, some people learn from coding streamers. Other people like to go into coding streamers and teach the streamer, and that's one of the reasons why I stream, is that I get corrected and I get help from chat a lot. So I'm learning from chat. I think it's small, but I think there are some people who actually learn from the streamer. But I think it's mostly people who like to help the streamer, like, because it feels good when you can teach someone something and help them, right? But also I think just a lot of people just like to have coding streamers on in the background because they're a coder too, and it's kind of like, if you're the only one at the office, or you're working from home and there's no one else around, well, having someone on in the background who's doing something similar, it's that gets that vibe going where it's like, okay, they're being productive, I can be productive too. Combo of helping and learning because domain knowledge is different. There's that too. That's why I like to watch like Adam C. Eunice. He doesn't stream coding so much as he streams art, and like I just watch him draw and I start to pick up like exactly what are the things he's doing, and like maybe I can one day learn to draw pixel art too, right? But I think I'd hazard to say most people go into coding streams just for the vibe, and because either they like to have someone chatting in the background, just the voice, or like someone focused on their work helps them focus on their work, and it's the reason why a lot of people like to go back to the office and not work from home, is that you kind of feel like you're part, even if you're not directly working with those around you, you feel like you're amongst others who are being productive, and then it helps motivate you to get what you want done also, even if you're not working directly with them. It's like a social thing. Yeah, also, yeah, I guess that's it. I don't want to, I talk too much. I should just stop myself. So yeah, this is a Lua script that I've been playing around with before. So I added the ability to script my parser, because I felt like sometimes you want to do something very specific and you don't want to GUI because you want to automate it. And that's exactly what I want to use it for here. I want this to automate extracting out an image just so I can show it on screen. Yeah, Lua, I picked Lua because it's extremely easy to embed it or to plug things into it. So I was able to, I call it bridge because it's bridging between Lua and my parser, which is written in Rust. I was able to do it just with a require, and it's stupidly easy. Let me show you how to, in Rust, make a module for Lua. Super easy. So the trick is you use create mlua. Looks like there's a new version of it. But mlua makes you allows you to just mark something as a Lua module, and instead of a main, you get a whatever you named it. And I think actually this name has to match. It's either I just use the same name, so I don't know for sure, but I think maybe the function name has to match what you require, or either that or what you require has to match the name of your crate or your .so that you build. So you have to, when you do that, it gives you the interpreter, and you fill in a table, and you're expected to fill the table with your exports. So we're exporting the ingest function, the parser function, and the bitstream function. So the bitstream function lets me tell it how to load a certain file as a bitstream, so that I can pass it back into ingest, which takes a bitstream as an argument. So the other thing you need to do is make sure your crate type is a C dynamic library. So again, use mlua, make it C dylib, and then in your lib you declare a Lua module, and in your table you do all your exports. That's mostly it. There's going to be a lot of errors that you can just question mark away, because most everything is going to be a Lua result of some kind. So anything goes wrong at any point, it just early returns. And then a lot of the most of the rest of the work in making a module for Lua in Rust is, in addition to like creating functions, is that function has to your functions in general are going to take the Lua interpreter, a bunch of arguments, and return a Lua result of something, and the something has to be implementing either user data, or it has to be a Lua type. So if you make user data, all you just need to do is implement the user data trait, and then that trait has methods that you implement to add fields and methods for your data type. So with a parser, you can get its formats, and you can add formats, and that's exactly what I did here, right here. So we made a parser, which ended up in parser new. Where was parser new? Right here. Oh, I already have a no zone. I'm gonna have to reboot the virtual machine. And I can't go back. Call add formats, and it knows I can call it because in add methods we added it. And as long as your types implement user data, like it sort of more or less seamlessly integrates. You just have to, the other thing you have to do is, if it's not a user data, you'll end up doing a lot of to and from Lua. So I believe that's from Lua is one trait that you implement, and then there's a to Lua trait. Looks like that's if you want to go pass values back in. So I think I did that for bitstream. Maybe not. I guess that's if your Rust code needs to be able to send things back into Lua, you would implement to Lua. But I think most of the time you end up doing from Lua. So I'm going to have to reboot because I have a mouse dead zone again. Before I do that, I'm going to send my changes out of the virtual machine, and I'm going to reboot. Love Roblox? Yeah, a lot of Roblox I've heard is Lua, right? Lua's fantastic for modding. Yeah, so if you want to make mods for a lot of different games, like Factorio or Oxygen Not Included, I think there are a lot of games like that are moddable with Lua. World of Warcraft mod is in Lua, right? Okay, so dead zone fixed. So we're reading the GIF format, reading pog slide. I have a callback to print stuff out. I think I'm going to leave this test the way it is and make a copy of it. Name that copy view, because we're going to view an image out of this I don't care about the onPart callback, so we're going to get rid of that. I'm pretty sure this ingest, if I just leave that off, it gets nil, but let's see. So we're getting logical. So let's just have it print out the logical screen width and height for now. And I'm just going to drop the rest of this junk. And so I'm going to say, I'm going to go to the stage, Lua, view, image, 112 by 112. Perfect. So let's, here's where I kind of need to run the GUI for a little bit because I don't remember exactly the path to the image. Not oxygen not included? I thought it was in Lua. Well, at least I know for sure Factorio and World of Warcraft are mods are in Lua. Roblox isn't a modified version of Lua. Yeah, you can add stuff to the Lua interpreter for your mods to get access to. You don't have to do it the way I'm doing it, where you pull in a library. The interpreter could actually be embedded in the game itself. So I'm kind of doing it the other way, where instead of embedding the Lua interpreter into my parser, I'm just making a library with the parser in it that you can pull into your Lua interpreter. Okay, so it's going to be data 1. See if we can get, let me just do it step by step. So data 1 graphic control block. I think I can do it by reference, right? Didn't I do that here? Yeah, I did. I did dereference value. That's what I did. So we're gonna get ultimately the image, but let's do it step by step. So dereference data 1 graphic control block. Graphic rendering block table-based image. Table-based image. And let's get the image descriptor out of that. Hey there, Sarian. And hey there, Stripe Monkey. So you all come in around 10 p.m. my time. I think it must be like morning in the EU, right? So that's image dereference value. Image descriptor. Actually, in here I could just do part, right? Okay, and then I'm gonna pull, just to make sure we got here, we'll get the image width. Image descriptor, part, image width. Value to Lua. I'm wondering, why do I have to do a to Lua call? Shouldn't the value itself just turn into a Lua value? Don't remember exactly why. Okay, so now let's get another shell, go to the stage, Lua view. Okay, so image is nil. So maybe I should back up a little bit. Let's see if we can get data out of here. Just data 1, right? Okay, couldn't even get data out of it. Can I get data? Actually, I don't remember if I can do that. Let's just go from. No, I want to. Can we just print it? So it is. So we can't even dereference data. Why would that be? Can't get data 1, but I can get logical screen. No, can't even get that. Then how did this work? Oh, dereference value is probably getting the value out, and data 1 doesn't have a value, so no, I'll have to look what dereference value is actually doing, I think. I know I lied, Syrian, sorry. Well, I was going to take the day out today, but what I normally do on Tuesdays was off for the week, so I'm like, what do I want to do? I kind of feel like streaming. It's 6 a.m. there, I guess that you are correct. Probably wrapper type that as some data pointer to Lua. Yeah. Hey there, TS Just. Morning. Yeah, it's just been a while since I got this bridge working, so I don't remember exactly how it works. Yeah, I'm guessing dereference value is getting a value, so let me see what the bridge does. It would be in what this returns, right? It returns a bridged data component which has a dereference value. So it parses a reference. Oh, it does get a value out. Okay, so that's not exactly what I want, right? I actually want to do this like part thing. So this is returning me a part, which is the shared component. So what if we just add another thing called dereference? Just to get the reference part, right? Because the reference... Wait. What is the reference? It's a vector of parts. Don't I just want the last thing from there? That's a path to locate a value. Oh, this is just getting a reference. So we actually do want to call dereference, but dereference is returning a data value. Okay, so we actually can't use dereference. What does dereference return? It might return a value. Okay. So then I really can't use dereference, right? Because that was meant to go into values. Okay, so then this won't work. I don't think. I'll have to just use part. At least for now. So where was that again? View. So it's just part. So it's a data component. What can we do with the data component? We can recover it from Lua. We have a field called value. Iterations, other origin. Am I going to have a problem because nothing gets into iterations right now? Yeah. Nothing's going to go into the iterations part, is it? That's a problem. I got to fix that. I guess we should be able to index. I need to remember, how do we index in let's see, does user data allow me to allow indexing? Add fields, add methods, register. I guess I can look it up. It's like in the meta table, right? I don't know, let me look it up. Because what I would like to be able to do is, once we get the data, to do index 1 on it. Actually, we want 2 because Lua, it's 1 based indices, right? So right now, if I do that, it's probably going to say it's nil, right? Because indexing that user data gave me nil back. Lua index user data. Wait, if I add a method called add, it supports plus. So does that mean if I add a method called index, like we can index it? Oh, add meta method. There we go. Add meta method is what I want. Data component meta method, right? Add meta method. Meta method index. Just add it directly. So M takes Lua, a T, and an, so it's just the same. It's Lua, this, args. Copy this, right? So yeah, this trick where I do in I is U size, or is it I size? Let's just see if we can get a U size out. So then it would be borrowed and then iterations. Get I. Map or nil. We get some part. I think it's the rest of it's the same, right? Remove the index. Okay. Part is an option. Oh, vec iterations is optional? Oh, okay, so yeah. So then we need to get and then I guess we're doing an and then part. Is it unwrap or? Hold on. Unwrap or? Is it a map or? No. It is. It's an option. So it's a flat, right? Flatten and then I don't need to. Is it flat map or? Flatten filter map? I can never remember these wacky names. Filter map takes an item. I think I want an and then or something like that, don't I? Because I want it to return none if the option is none. And then I want to map or. Right? But what do I want to do with the and then? Thing. What's the thing? Okay, I get the inner option, right? So actually, don't I just want to unwrap it? I'm having trouble thinking about it. Yeah, I have the cheat sheet. Should I look at the cheat sheet? I have it bookmarked. Sheets 1, right? Okay. Do I want unwrap or else? No, I want like... No, I don't want the or else versions. Think filter map? They're both filters and maps. Thing is, I don't want to iterate. The get is not returning me an iterator. So like I'm not using an iterator method. I'm using an option method. I was using map or on an option. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just hard for me. It's hard for me to think through this because I don't know. I have this block, and that's probably why this cheat sheet exists, because there are just all sorts of like weird names for the different combinations of like unpacking stuff, right? Yeah, I kind of want flatten. Don't I want flatten? But flatten, there's a problem with flatten. Converts from option to, I think it's because the inner one is a reference. It's an optional reference to an option. Do I want like as ref and then flatten? That, okay, it's as dref? thought asref would get the option out, or get the reference out, but it looks like it's adding another reference inside. Flatten is sort of what I want, but yeah. It's not, and doesn't quite work, isn't it? And I keep thinking, keep going back to and then, because I do want none if the option is none. Otherwise, I do want to get the wrap value and return something out of it. Don't I want to do like and then? Slot is slot.asref. The slot will be an option. Actually, what if I just do that and then get rid of the flatten? Or better yet, what if I dereference slot? What's the problem there? Clone. And it'll probably say, hey, there's something better. Replace it with itself. Okay. I'm sure someone in chat has already said I should do it that way. It's like I've already cloned, I can just do that. Is that what I want? Get and then clone? Get and then clone that inner option. And then turn into Lua or return nil, right? Yeah, Sarian said map cloned flatten would work. That was pretty close, right? And then option clone might do, yeah. Or clone. You think option cloned? At least an RC that's being cloned. Yeah, well, that's what we want. We want to clone the reference because we end up returning it. That's why we cloned it up here too when we had a reference. So yeah, we ultimately had to clone it somewhere, but I guess this clones it. Right, because we're borrowing a reference to the RC, we have to clone it to get it out. So we get out either none or we get some new reference to the component. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so now I should be able to index this. It's still nil. How about if we get do that? Well, at least it indexed it. Did it not return it correctly or something? Like, I think it's calling the index up. Well, actually, we don't really know for sure, right? I could always kind of cheat and actually print something. Oh, I know what happened. I forgot to build. I forgot to rebuild. It's not automatic. I have to rebuild. There we go. So now it's indexing. Okay, cool. Don't forget to rebuild. Okay, so we get a data component value. We can't concatenate it because there's no, it's like, maybe I need to make a meta method for stringification or something, or I forget how in Lua you do that. like the toString. Many layers can be a bit annoying at times. Yeah. Yeah. So clone is okay. Don't get freaked out. We're cloning on RC, which is very cheap, and it's effectively adding a new reference because we're going to return it. That's what indexing returns out, another reference to the second data. And I'm getting the second data, by the way, because the first data is an app extension. It's not, so the first image is actually the second data. ToString. Let's see. That would be nice if it's that, because then it would just be another meta method, and we can just see with the help here. Meta method ToString. Oh, look, there is a ToString. Awesome. So I'm going to cheat and just copy, paste, save, and then here we don't actually use the args, right? We just I think I'm just going to say format this like this. Can how do I turn it into a Lua value? Into Lua? And then it might fail. Data command doesn't implement standard debug. I thought I did implement it, but I guess I didn't. Let's go implement. Oh, no, I need to get the .0 out of it. So let's do this. This borrow. Is this .0 borrow? Is that printable? Really? It's because I don't use the args, it's going to complain. So I'll just say the args is nothing. All right, let's try that. And I have to remember to build. Do I have to do something in Lua? Like ToString or something? This I don't quite remember. What's happening in my internet connection? I don't know. ToString. Is it just ToString? Okay. Easy enough. Oh, okay, there we go. We got its debug stuff out. It's quite big. The component, it's format data. That's exactly what we want. Key children graphic control block. Okay, good. Good. That's a lot of garbage, but that's a good thing to have because we might use that later. So then I can just chain this, right? Part graphic control block. Part graphic rendering block. And then table-based image. And maybe as a shortcut to part, we can allow indexing by string, and then if you index by string, it will be the same as part. So that becomes image. Oh, what happened there? Did it just crash? Yeah, you guys heard the kitty? There's the kitty. The kitty wants me to open the window, I guess. Right, kitty? We'll open the window a little bit for Kitty. All right, Kitty. Kitty wants to see out the window. I guess I'm gonna have to open that window. You want to see out the window? She just like wants to look for creatures outside. I think this crashed. String. Oh, no, it did print something. Wait, did... This thing is, this thing we don't need anymore, right? Just get rid of this. What's the way to do a comment in lieu again? Not that, it's, dash dash, right? Yeah. Oh, it's printing something, but my shell is eating it. I've had this problem before. Try... Yeah, my shell is eating the output. What if we just, for now, we'll just have an extra print. There we go. Okay, cool, it's working. So... Yes, Kitty? Oh, walking out of the frame. There she goes. Yeah, dash dash is a sort of weird way to comment. Bye, Kitty. Okay, what do I want to do with... Ultimately, I'm going to need to see if there is a local color table. Because if the local color table flag is set, then we'll need to get the local color table out. But this POG slide doesn't use a local color table, so we'll need to get it. I think it's from Logical Screen Global Color Table. Yeah. We'll need that. We'll need that soon. But I think for now, I should be able to just reach into image data, right? And then the output of LZW stream. Don't I want to just return that back out of image data? I think I do. Let me modify the syntax to do that. So here's image data. Let's have it return LZW stream. So now when this rolls back down, yeah, see now the image data has the same value as the stream. So I can just go to the image data. So table-based image data. Based image data. The image data. Let me keep that around in case I need it later. Oh, guess who's back? Kitty's back. Image data equals image art data. You guys, I think you guys like the kitty more than you like me. And I should be offended. So what happens if we just print the value right now? It's just value, right? Field value is just going to give us the value. Pet cat runs away. What happens if we just print the value? We get data value and then something in there. Oh, I need to call to Lua. See, maybe to Lua isn't the right thing because it feels kind of clunky. Oh, bye bye, kitty. Error converting Lua missing argument user data. Oh, okay. Because it's a method. Nil. Shoot. Because I didn't build it, or it's reading. Oh, it's reading the GIF format from the stage. I need to copy from examples. It's reading the old format. Okay, we get a table. Great. Perfect. So let's print its length. How do you get the length of a table? It's like the special syntax like that, right? There we go. So it's 12,544. Now is that 112 times 112? How to dump a table to console? I'm sure we have to loop ourselves, right? Yeah, you have to do like that. That's if it's key value, you do pairs. If it's a list, you do I pairs or something like that, right? Yeah. I'm gonna try to. Oh, guess who's back again? I guess she's like really wanting me to give her some attention, so she keeps coming back. I think she's bored. Are you bored? Yeah? Bored? Her is there. She's patrolling. That's right. Let's get the descriptor and the width and height out. And then we'll print it. Just to confirm. Okay. More cat, less code. I forgot to bring the camera closer to Kitty. Right. Because we're all here. You're all here to watch the cat, not me, right? So am I right that print? That should be we got. All right. Oh, so, cool. Pixel count matches. Petting kitty. See anything out there? Watch her just like jump at the screen and bust through, and you'll see me frantically chase her down in the backyard. All right. So what I can do is I could actually iterate through by row and column and just print the number. I just have to remember how you format numbers in Lua. Useful to find this stuff out anyway, right? String formatting. String formatting. Okay, so I can do like a percent and then like So it's just like in C. Well, how do you do field size? What do you see? A buggy? Going after something. Don't break the screen. Don't do that. Sees moths, probably with that light, yeah. Hey, don't tear that. Hey, claws off. Claws off the screen. So, string, field size. Field size. Yeah, she's going after something. Okay, so you do like 0. Okay, I get it. So either 0 or space something would do it, right? Close up kitty. Oh, there she goes. Where are you going now? Gonna walk all over my stuff. She'll be back. Or, gosh, it's been forever since I've done loops in Lua. Lua range 4. Not Fox. 4. Or I equals from to, okay. Y equals did I actually put 2? No. Comma image width, right? And let's be true to form and actually use one based 2. For x equals 1, this should be height. So we want to print like after the end we want to actually end the line, right? If I remember this right, you do a print and then you do something comma to like not terminate it, right? If x equals 1, then end print or greater than 1. Put a space. Otherwise, we're going to print image, data. Write this out. Pixels. String.format. Percent. Sure. %03D. Pixels. Y minus 1 times image width plus x, right? What do I get from that? Don't think it did it crash? Okay. Let's format out to 1. Unexpected symbol on line 24. Did it not like the comma? Speaking of Lewis, should you play Balatro? Sure. All right, this isn't really helping me. I just forget how it's done. So in Lua, print without new line. Give me the recipe, please. Oh. Oh, so you just do IO line, IO right? What? Build up your string and then write out with a single print. That's probably better, right? So line equals that. Line. Is there a dot equal? Print, I don't know, I have image data in there. Print line. Oh, it doesn't like the dot equal? Oh, I forgot to, oh, shoot. This should have gone there. This, I just wanted to have it print an extra space. Okay. Cool. Okay, so then here I do want to print it to out, because in out, we should get, there we go. There's our image. So that is supposed to be Pepe. Kind of hard to see him though. Maybe if I zoomed out, we would see him. Rare Pepe, yeah. I mean, you can kind of see that there's an edge to the image right here. Oh, I already have a dead zone. I already have a dead zone. Can't click below this line. Well, that's interesting. Shoot. It's really hard to see things. Well, the next step is to now actually turn this into something that we plot on the screen. Can you move desktops? Oh yeah, we're gonna test that, right? So if I were to move it to the desktop, is it clickable? The answer is no. Dead zone persists across desktops. Even if I think even if I close this and go to a completely different desktop and opened it, there's actually I can't even click on the corner of the desktop. It's completely busted. Which is a problem because I'm not sure exactly how to open a terminal. Oh, I can just say open terminal here. Very frustrating. You can see eyes in the minimap, yeah. I think Pepe is hiding in there. I don't know if I'll get to him tonight. We gotta do a bit. I need to recover the color table. Maybe that's what we do next. We don't really care about the pixels. Okay. So, oh, I don't want to reboot. I want this window to be showing cargo run that. I think GUI depends on bridge for some reason. I should probably double check that. It doesn't. I don't know why it's building that one. Okay, so let's just assume for now we'll do the local color table stuff later. Right now, I want to get to the global color table, and then we should be able to get to the RGB values out of that. So let's get that out. Oh, look who's back. Hey, Kitty's back. Hey, Kitty. All right. Color table. Actually, before I do this, let's try to shorten the part by letting us index by string. So, if I remember right, I can just go to data component, and in the meta method, we can, instead of it being usize, we can do Lua value. And we can just call it index. And then we can say match index. And we can say if it's a number, then do this. Nil, Boolean, all this stuff. Or do I want integer? I guess I wanted integer, right? String will do something else. Hey there, Mr. Sir. I am building up my Lua bridge, my parser into Lua, so that I can write a Lua script to help me automate some parsing. So here's a GIF image. It happens to be a Pog slide. And right now I'm writing a Lua script that's going to extract out the color table and extract out the first image, which is in here. And actually, we're trying to plot it on the screen. You stoked to raid me finally. You raided me a couple days ago. You don't remember? But thank you for the raid again. So yeah, I've been working on this programmable data parser forever now, for a while, even when I wasn't streaming. So I can do a quick intro for people who might not have seen this. So I work on hobby projects here on Twitch, and so I'm really into Rust these days. I used to make a online game, but then I got a job where they said game dev is not allowed if you want to work here. So I'm like, okay, I got to find something else to do. So because I don't use Rust at work, I'm like, hey, let's do. I'm really into Rust too. Let's do that when we're on stream. And goodbye, Kitty. And this project that I'm doing in Rust is something I've been really into for years, because one of my interests is like data analysis. So like looking at different binary formats and trying to figure it out, or like fixing files. Like I used to. One of the things I did at my previous job is I would take a damaged movie file and figure out how to repair the file so that you can actually play it again. And you'd use a tool like this where you pull in the file into memory and like find the damaged section with a tool like this, which lets you like pick a specific element and like drill down and look into specific parts of it. So like this delay time, that word right there, which is the value 2, is, I think it's how many tenths of a second to delay between these two frames of the animated GIF. Yeah, repairing a video file thing. Yeah. So if you have damage in a file, what happens generally in a good case is that it parses correctly down to the damage. And then when you get to the damage thing, let's say this delay time was bad, you would just, like the tools, maybe you can't directly edit here, but you can at least get the offset in the file of where it is and then open it in a real hex editor, go to that location, change the byte, and then reparse. And hopefully you might not recover that individual frame, but you could maybe like skip that frame or remove that frame or edit it out with FFmpeg or something, and then you recover the undamaged parts. It takes a long time if you don't know the format, but if you do, sometimes it's just a matter of surgically removing or replacing the damaged parts. So the other thing I was into that I've always been fascinated with is making my own programming language, and I'm combining the two things, data analysis and compilers. So this tool isn't hardwired to parse just GIF files. It could parse anything as long as you can describe the format. So here's the language I invented for parsing. So it's kind of like a general purpose programming language, except for the intrinsic functions are instructions for the parser to turn the input file into a data structure output. So like S is an intrinsic that says we're going to parse a string, and UI is an intrinsic that says it's an unsigned integer. And then you make building blocks off of that. So you describe how to parse the header of a GIF, and then you say, okay, the header goes here. And then after the header, logical screen, which is down here. And it has a descriptor, and the descriptor has the width and height, and they're both 16 bits. And then you have an individual sort flag bit, and then see this color, the global color table, if we have one, it's here. And I have special syntax for things like, if we know the exact size it should be, then we say what the size is and what I call a bounded scope. So this many bits will be whatever the global color table is. The colon 16 is an abbreviated form of that. It's bounding this unsigned integer to be exactly 16 bits, no more, no less. So yeah, my program takes in what's called a format file, compiles it into a recipe in memory, and then takes that along with the data file you give it, which is this pogslide GIF, and follows the recipe to turn every single byte into the output. So if you see, if I click on individual bytes, it's now cycling through what it interpreted that to be. And when you see something like this global color table, see how it's split between red, green, and blue? And every time I click, I'm going between the red, green, and blue parts. That's because when I defined it, color table, we have a for loop. So it's arranged interleaved. So the first 8 bits is red, and then the next 8 bits is green, and then blue. And then we loop back and we do the next entry in the color table. So the way it looks in the output is it says, well, the global color table has got 3 arrays in it. The arrays are all the same size because we parsed one of them per loop. So like the 10th element of red and the 10th element of green and the 10th element of blue go together to give you the red, green, and blue for the 10th entry in the color table. And they're arranged separate because they're grouped by the field first and then the iteration. So you could turn it around. You could say there are 256 entries, and in each one there's a red, green, and blue. I could have done it that way, but I chose to do it this way because when I was writing the code, it was easier written this way. You're writing your own binary file format as you speak? Well, then you should write its description in my parsing language. So to give you an idea of another example, one that you might be more familiar with, here is how I describe the format for JSON. So a JSON document is a value, right? And a value You have to look ahead one UTF-8 character, and if it's curly open brace, it's an object. If it's a double quote, it's a string. If it's a square bracket, it's a list. If it's 0 through 9, it's a number. If it's T, it has to be true. F has to be false. N has to be null, right? So you can see, like, I have if, else if statements. The plus means a look ahead, so we're we're peeking ahead one character, so that when we parse into object itself, it's going to expect the first one to be a bracket again. So open brace, right? Open brace has to be an open brace, or we get an error that we expected one. We parsed it twice. The first time we parsed it, we didn't know if it would be an object or not, so we did a look ahead. And then if we saw it was a brace, then it's like, okay, it must be an object, so we're parsing it as an object. But yeah, an object has a name value, and a name value is a name colon value. A minus sign basically means parse it with that format, but then discard it. Don't show it in the output. And that's to kind of keep things simple. So just like in JSON and GIF, there's a bunch of ignored stuff here. And if I don't want to see it in the output data structure, I'll just mark it as ignored like that. So the only thing that'll show for JSON a name value is the name and the value. And then return statements assign the overall value of the name value construct is the name. So, and you build these building blocks off of each other. Here's something that if you know UTF-8, you'll recognize. This is how you parse a UTF-8 character. There's 4 ways. It could be a single byte, it could be 2 bytes, 3, or 4. And the way you know is you look ahead the first 4 bits, and if it matches a certain pattern, then you know how many bytes there are. And then, like, within those bytes, some of the bits are reserved. Like, they're used so that you can synchronize. If you don't know where you are in a character, you can just skip until the first 2 bits aren't 1, 0 or something like that. And then you know you're at the beginning of a character. But then you end up just taking different numbers of bits from the bytes and shifting them in the right place and adding them together. So yeah, just building blocks one after another until you've assembled the format overall. GIF is fun because when you get down to the actual image data, you have to actually decode it. It's LZW compression. So I have a special syntax that says once you get to an image data, you first get the data subblocks. Now, in the data subblocks, in other words, in the output of the data subblocks, parse it again as an LZW stream. So that means data subblocks has to actually generate an output bit stream. And you do that I do that by having this like bitstream type, and then you can add to it any number of bits. So the data subblocks are, there's first a size field, and then that number of times 8 of bits. We take that and then we just glue it to the end of the data that we're assembling, and then we return it at the end. So that kind of looks like here. If I go to image data and I go to the blocks, see, like, the first size is there, and then that's the actual data block. Then here's the second size and the second data block, third size, third data block. And then when you assemble it all together, that is the overall value of the data subblocks. And then when I click here, this is the reassembled data blocks glued together without the size fields. And then that is the input to the LZW decoder. So it interprets it as a sequence of tokens, and here they are. We can jump through them. There are 5,994 of them. And then that goes through the decoder and outputs the actual pixel values, which we have over here now. I have captured them in my output file. I will show you in a moment if I can find it. Or I put it under stage, right? Here we go. So here are the actual pixel values that you get out of the decoder. And my goal today is to try to get as far as I can of looking up these indices in the color table and actually plotting them as pixels on the screen. Finally, some real programming. This category has a mix. Some streamers do programming, others do a mix of programming and education, or a mix of programming and React content, or just vibing, or sometimes it's all entertainment. Yeah, and Nightshade Dude has probably seen them all. You know what I'm talking about. I like to just stream of consciousness, rubber ducking, they call it, where I'm working through a hobby and I'm kind of like vocalizing what I'm thinking and what I'm about to do and what I'm doing, so that you may stick around just for the sound of my voice, or you might be legitimately interested in the coding I'm doing, or you might have an idea for how I might be able to do something better, or you might see a bug and you might tell me about it. All that's good. Many are just the 1% of a game. Game programming is hard. I have real respect for people who are making games. Like, this parser tool I'm making might be a small tool in a larger tool set that one might use to make a game. Games are huge scope things. You see hex on screen and you're hooked? Yeah, I really like this hex. It's right now it's a hex viewer only. I called it hex editor, but you can't actually edit. You can only view. I like that I can scroll, and at the top, like, isn't that cool? The top row still stays there, and you can tell the offset of any byte you clicked. What I really should probably do is wherever the mouse cursor is, I should like highlight the row and column. That would be super cool. Oh, but yeah, I really like that I made the tool so I can click anywhere and it tells me where I am. And if I'm looking inside the second stage parsing, the LZW decoder, right? If I click out back to image data, now when I click around, I'm in the original image, and like you might say, oh, what the heck's Netscape doing there? Well, that's an application extension, and a lot of GIF files have this, and I have no idea why. But for some reason, most GIF writers write out this Netscape application extension. Who knows why? I would like to make it editable, because one thing that like I was talking about previously, if you have a file that's damaged and then you can use the parser tool to locate where the damage is, then you might hex edit out the damage to fix it. The best I can do now is I locate the damage, go into a real hex editor, edit it there, and then have this reload it and see if it works. Hex editors are hard because when you think about it, if you replace the byte, that's not so hard. But what if you insert a byte? That means you have to shift all the bytes after that. And then I'm going to have to reparse the whole thing because who knows what I changed. And then what if the file contains offsets into itself, like pointers? Then you'd have to like update the pointers. And if this tool was really smart and it knew that there was a pointer in there and you inserted a byte, and then it'd have to know to update all those pointers and stuff, it would be really hard. You're here for the winning person. I will thank you, Stripe Monkey. Some past projects I've done that I made my own keyboard. There's a YouTube summary there. Chat really helped me out. In fact, the top 4 people who helped me out and inspired me, I put their names on the silk screen of the circuit board of the keyboard. I'd really like to do one of those projects again in the future, a mix of hardware, software. But those take a lot of planning. So yeah, anyway, right now, today I'm trying to see when I hover over image data, it shows me all the indices. So I got it so that I can run a Lua script that prints the same thing out. So I'm trying to now to adapt this so that I can look up the colors in a color table. And then the last thing would be to make a visualizer that just plots those pixels. So I have the indices. Now I'm looking for the color table. And it's just both useful and convenient to work on the scripting side. So I have it so that in addition to the parser having a user interface geared towards showing data on the left and input on the left, output on the right, I also want to be able to script it. So that's what this is. It's written in Lua. When you require something and that something is a .so in the same directory, it loads it as a module into your Lua interpreter. And if you use mlua, it's stupidly easy to make a Lua module in Rust. So again, going over that a little bit, if you use the mlua crate and you make your crate type a cdylib, and at the top level you declare this Lua module, you get a Lua interpreter in, and you're expected to return a table out, and that table is basically adding functions that you can call through that module. So for example, bitstream file is a function now that we can call. and I use it here through the module. I can call bitstream file, and I can tell it, open a file with that name and give me an object in Lua that I can then parse, which is a bitstream, because this ingest is the actual parsing. You might have remembered before I talked about how my parser first has to compile the format description and then it uses that to parse. So that first step, compiling, is this parser. So 2 steps or 3. We have a file. We have to compile the parser for it, and then we can use it to ingest the input and get output pooped out, so to speak. So in that view.lua, here's where we're getting a compiler for the formats. We open that GIF format and we tell the parser to add all the formats parsed from that. So this is compiling those raw formats and incorporating them into the parser. That when we call ingest down here, we say ingest using that parser that we compiled up here, ingest the raw GIF bitstream as the GIF format, and that string is looked up as the root of the document. So it has to match what we put here. And we get out a GIF, which is a data component, which is a composite data structure. So it has a root node. It's actually very similar to what we're plotting over here. So at the very root, we have header, logical screen, and data. So you can see here, we're looking at the data, and then we're getting the graphic control block, the graphic rendering block, the table-based image descriptor, and from there we get the image width and height. And so that would be like down in here, we have the image width and height, right? 112 by 112. Well, that's what we get out here, 112 by 112. And the pixels were, if we go from the image and we go to image data, and we get its value and convert it to Lua, we should have a table. So we can index the table here, and it's arranged like left to right, top to bottom. So if we take our y coordinate times the width plus the x coordinate, we get that individual pixel. And again, the pixels are indices into the color table. So there's like a palette, and this is an index into the palette. So I also want to now turn that into the actual RGB values. The RGB values are in the logical screen, has got a global color table in it. And it's always going to have, I think GIFs are always 8-bit, or maybe it depends on global color table size. So we might actually want to look that up first, because that's going to be the number of RGB values in global color table. But I want to do a little aside, because having to say part over and over again is very tedious. So I was trying to make it so that I can just say GIF data, basically use a string as an index, and that's about where I was when I got rated. So this is the objective, is to turn all the parts into just indexes into Lua tables. So I'm converting the script into what I want it to look like. And then the objective would be that when we run it, it doesn't crash it doesn't crash. Right now a crash is saying it can't index it. It expects it to be a U size, right? It's not coercible. But I was working on making it coercible. So in the bridge for data component, I was working on the index meta method. If we look at the index we get, if it's an integer, we look up the iteration subcomponent. So in a data component, you can have the keyed children, or you can have the iterations. So iterations are like in red. These are iterations, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like those are the iterations of red, because red was inside of a loop and we iterate through all the reds. The keyed children would be of global color table are red, green, and blue. So in my script, when I am indexing by string, I want to look into the keyed children, but if I'm indexing by number, I want to look up into iterations. That's what I was working on here. Oh, thank you, sysedit. I like your username. Reminds me of like looks like a Unix command almost. Sysedit. Yes, Josh, you got some old JPEGs. They're slightly corrupted. Well, first we have to describe JPEG in my format. Actually, that would be a fun task if you, or fun aside to do. If you actually have one of your slightly corrupted JPEGs, if I ever make a JPEG format description, we can inspect one of your damaged files and try to repair it. Okay, so I think if it's a table, function, thread, any of this stuff, we'll just return an error or something. What do we say? How do you make a Lua error? So it'd be error. I don't know what's in a Lua error. Okay, syntax error, runtime error. What did I just say, runtime error? I wonder if there's a helper to return a runtime error. Ah. Like I've done this before. See all the places where I've done this before. Lua conversion error, Lua runtime error. Okay, so I can just do Lua runtime error, I guess. And it just wants a string, right? So we can just say something, and it needs to be an owned string, like that, right? So I don't know what do I want to say. Cannot index by a index. Actually, if we're going to make a format, we can use the format macro instead of doing a toString. Right? mlua value doesn't implement display, but we can use a debug. Okay, this is index. And probably have to borrow it? No. What? It's an optional? Cannot be indexed by, oh, it's an I64. So have to do like as U64. Dereference. Cannot be deref. Oh, it already is that. What's the problem then? Okay. Be indexed. Oh, usize. And it's going to give me a possible truncation. I think for now I'm just going to force its hand here. Allow possible truncation. I put it up here. And we might lose the sign. Yeah, I'll fix this later. I just want to kind of get it working. We're just going to allow. I'm going to silence the linter for now. Let's put a to do. Go back and properly handle negative indices or indices out of range of usize. So we'll make a note to come back and do that later. Okay, string. So the string is like a key, and the key we're going to use to say this.0.borrow dot children dot get in the key by key, and then the value of that is what? It is an optional reference to an RC ref cell data component. So yeah, it's an option. So I want to do map or basically this thing, right? Map or nil, and then we're going to take that part and turn it, make a wrapper for it and convert it into a Lua user value. Okay, so the key, we need to borrow the key. right? String cannot be borrowed. The key's a string, so wait, what's the type of key? It is a string. Consider borrowing here. Oh, it's a Lua string. So I need to say to str. How do I get it out? I guess that might be an error. Indices out of range of usize? Yeah, because if you were to compile this on like a 16-bit machine, usize theoretically would be 16 bits, and let's say you did like a million. Well, a million is out of range for usize on a 16-bit machine, because you index Beck is indexed by usize, and on Rust, usize is the size. How is it defined? Like it uses an integer, an unsigned integer, the width of which is like how much you can address. So 16 bits machine would be 16 bits. Yeah, but we're not. Practically speaking, it's 64-bit machine, so I think I'd be fine just ignoring possible truncation because it probably never happened. But we do want to handle sign loss because if I'm really stupid and I make a negative index, well, this would actually crash. I think get will panic. Actually, get will handle out of range, so maybe we don't care. Because it'll just go to a very large positive number if you don't handle sign loss. Means like a negative number becomes a very large positive number, and it'll probably be out of range. And get will return none, which is just fine. So maybe we could just ignore both, right? Okay, so I think there's some difference here between a Lua string and a Rust string. And I forget how we convert between them. Is it like from Lua or something? I don't remember. This stuff. I guess I'll just look it up unless someone knows. I'm using mlua, so I'm going to start with looking up mlua docs. And wait, is this the right docs? Doesn't look right. Let's go to the librs API reference. There we go. This looks better. Okay, so string. So how do I... So get's a borrowed string if it's valid UTF-8. Actually, I don't care about handling a result. What if I just do toString lossy? What's a std string? Oh, okay, that's what we want, right? toString lossy. And then I need to borrow it because get insists on borrowing it. Okay, good. And what's this one? All right, I need to actually clone it, right? Cloned. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this should work now, right? Oh, I need to remember to build it. Keep forgetting to do that. I got to build the bridge. Then I can use it. Then I look at my output, and if it worked, then we're back to having a pixel array. Hey, we're back to having a pixel array. Cool. So we're back to the output we expected, and I can index things directly, and I don't have to use that part thing anymore. Nice. Do you have a Rust job? No. In fact, I stream hobbies in Rust because I don't use Rust for work. I like to keep work and non-work separate, and streaming Rust is one way in which I keep it separate. If I was using Rust at work, I probably wouldn't want to do Rust on stream because it's like, what, I just got home Why do I want to go to work again? What's the work language? These days C++, but sometimes some Swift or Objective C. I don't know if I'm paid the big bucks or not. Work pays the bills for sure. The game dev ban is pretty simple. It's the job rules. So I got hired at this job. They said, sorry, we don't allow you to do game dev or open source, and don't talk about work. I'm like, okay, I can do that, I guess. But I get paid okay. Makes me happy. Yeah. Well, this isn't game dev. It's not what I do at work, and it's not open source. So it meets all the rules. Um, it's just company policy. You know, when you have a contract for a job, and they have silly things in the contract, you have to take it or leave it. If you take it, then you're even if it's silly, you're still agreeing to do it. If you really can't stand it and you don't want to have to agree to the silly rules, and you don't take the job, you find a different job. Sometimes you don't really have a choice because there's nothing else, right? That's life. Okay, so I want to get the color table. So global color table. So that is logical screen global color table. And just to make sure that we are getting the correct global to color table, let's print out something from it. Let's print, oh, I gotta go into the screen descriptor to get the, oh, does this mean that it's optional? We might not have a global color table. We might not have one actually. But for now, let's assume that there always is one. We'll just get the size. I wanted to get the size out. So logical screen descriptor. Okay. GCT size. This. No, I am this close to regretting my choice of making very long names. Global color table size. Global color table size. Value.to Lua. Let's just print that out. A global color table size. Okay. Oh, bad argument self to two. Oh, I make that mistake a lot. Method. It's a method to Lua, which we should probably clean up. 56. Yay. Could have added a U to color. Yes, I could have, but I am American. Americans have funny spellings for things. So we'll use GCT size because we're going to read this GCT now, and we're going to have colors is a table. You can make a table like this, right? Actually, I can't remember. It's been so long since I've actually programmed in Lua that I got to look things up. Create Lua table. Tables. That's we're not going to do Roblox. How about programming in Lua? Oh, it's curly braces? Okay. It would be like that, and then it would be for, we did a for loop earlier, right? Yeah, so for I equals 1 comma GCT size 2 colors. Is there like a simple append? I guess we just index it, right? I mean, we just say colors index I equals, let's form a new table where we pull that out of the GCT. Global color table, it's going to be red, green, and blue, right? So red, index I, -1. Think about this. I need to go look and see, did I subtract 1 already in here? I did not, right? I did not. So, should I though? I kind of feel like I should. That it should take that index and turn it from a Lua index into a Rust index. I think I should do that. So then, because that would, then I can fix what I had here. I did it manually here, right? Actually, no, that's actually exactly what I wanted. Right, but except for, oh, maybe I was off by 1 the whole time. I think I was. Yeah, so we do need to subtract 1 because we don't want to start with image width. We want to start with 1. So it would be 1 minus 1 times image width plus 1 is 1. That's the first one. Here, though, I should just be able to say that. Green, blue. And then we're just going to print GCT to string colors. All right. Oh, table. Oh, that's right. There's no built-in like pretty printing of it. So what if we just select this first, color equals that, and then colors equals color. Then we'll print CT. And here we'll just print, indent a little bit, and dot color. One, comma, 2 and 3. Tend to concatenate. Oh, I see what I did wrong. These all have to have value to Lua. There we go. So there's the global color table, and I could compare with this to make sure it's correct. So global color table, the first red is 84. Okay, so we're off by 1. Oh, because I didn't rebuild when I gotta rebuild. Keep forgetting to do that. Rebuild and then run this again. Yeah, so now it's 84. Yeah, so red 0 is 84, green 0 is 120, blue 0 is 60. So this is the global color table. So we're gonna index into this when we are displaying the pixels. Why is it on auto wrap? There we go. Okay, so to make it even nicer, it's like hashtag and then hex digits for red, green, and blue, right? So let's do that. Could have added you Rust to Lua. I'm making a Lua extension in Rust, and that extension leverages the same parser that's built into this program. How much experience do you have? Depends. So I have very little experience that I remember from Lua. I know a bit more about Rust because I've been using it for a while. Do I critique portfolios? No, I'm terrible at that. I'm just gonna say, wow, you know a lot. You could probably get a job anywhere. And even if like there was a problem with your portfolio, I probably would not see it. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to be critical sometimes. I'm not very confrontational. Okay, so let's do it this way. We'll print string format percent O2x repeated twice, comma, color1, comma, like that. See what I get now. Hey, look at that. It actually showed colors for a moment and then it didn't. Do you have Vim, NeoVim? No, I'm using VS Code. So how did it get the colors? It's really was it if I say HTML or CSS? It's showing the colors briefly and then it says, ah, no, it's not CSS. I don't know, plain text. Oh, there we go. So through the power of VS Code, we can actually see the colors in the image. That's pretty sweet. So we know that, well, I should also print the indices so we can see that too, right? So let's do that. So we'll print the %03 decimal. And this is I minus 1. There we go. So 255 is black. We're getting closer. Can my Vim do what? I don't know. I'm sure Vim can do the same thing VS Code could do. Editors these days are so programmable and extensible. You could probably make VS Code look like Vim looking like Emacs. And I bet people do that for fun. First 50 different plugins and a dozen language servers. Yeah, exactly. If it's slower, you just get a faster machine, TS Jost. I'm sorry. Just got to go buy a faster machine. Emacs. All right, so we got the global color table. It looks nice. So I'm getting the correct data out. I'm getting close to where I want to actually make a graphical interface. But I'm running out of time. I think it's going to have to be tomorrow. So the idea would be that the script would launch a visualizer that just plots this on the screen, and then we should see Pepe. We're done. You're memeing and getting memed on. Well, that sounds like just another day on the internet. I think the only mod here is TS Jost. Gotta be careful. He's a professional mod on many streams. I'm just wondering if there's a way to leverage VS Code's trick here to like show them as blocks and then actually see something. Not a mod everywhere? Nightshade dude, you're not a mod everywhere. Sorry. Yeah, nice hammer there. I'm still printing that. Why am I doing that? Okay, we don't need that anymore. Okay, before I go, I want to see, can I run a program? Actually, can I do better than that? Can I open a window with W in it? So let's see if I can do that. I just need to have the bridge use W in it, right? Collapse, close everything. So right now it does not depend on WinIt. What do we actually need? And so I think minimally I need eGUI and I need eGUI WinInit. Maybe I just need WinInit to start with. We just grab WinInit and just make a window. If we can do that, then I can do it entirely from the bridge. I can just have the bridge able to open up a window that has the control in it. Like, why not, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So it's got Win in it now. Oh, I think making a new window and Win in it is pretty easy, right? Yeah, okay, not exactly. We have to make an event loop, right? And then I believe the way it works these days is you implement its application handler and you wait for resumed to happen, and then you use the event loop that you got to create a window. And actually, that's all I really need. I don't actually need to get a context or any of this junk. I just need to make a window, right? Let's see what I can do here. So we'll need to make an app. We'll need to implement that on the app. I guess what I'll do is I'll just have a window thing in the bridge. So we'll just export window. Lua create function window new. And then I'll make a new module called window.rs. And I'll say it's a mod. The window, there'll be a struct window. I probably should have used uppercase here. Wait, why is it lowercase? Oh, right. You're supposed to have a function like that. So I don't even need to make it a public structure. Oh, no, I do. Okay, fine. This probably needs stuff from Lua, so we'll do that. Okay, so this is window new. We're gonna make a new window. All right, and then it's got to have an impl with a function new that returns self, and self is that's minimally what we need, right? I'll leave that for now. What's wrong with that? We have to implement into Lua. Why into Lua multi? Oh, I see. Yeah. So I think I need this. I need from Lua. Let's see what I can do. So implement user data for window. That's actually all I need. Okay, so in my view, if I say like window equals bridge window, and let's make a method called run loop. Because the idea is we'll just have it run the event loop. So then we'll need to add a method. I guess we don't need to implement register, but I will need a method. I'm just stealing from my other class here, called run loop. I don't actually need the arguments, so I just say it is that, fine, and then I need to do the equivalent of what my GUI does. Main. Okay, so we need an event loop from WinInit. I need to make one and stash it in the app. I'll just grab all these lines here. How easy is it using mlua? It's pretty easy. I think I would say it's stupidly easy. I didn't mention this before, I forgot, but in addition to having your extension depend on mlua, you need to enable a feature module. And I think enabling Lua 54 feature also pulls in a pre-built version of Lua, so you don't have, it doesn't actually build it for you, but I'm not sure about that. But yeah, make it module, make your lib, create type cdilib, and then in your lib.rs, you need to have a Lua module, takes a Lua interpreter, returns a result table, and then you basically populate the table with all your exports for your module. So all of these end up as functions you can call from your module. So when you roll in your module in Lua with a require, as long as that's available as I don't know why it's printing everything. It has to be available as a .so, or you can symlink it to where it really is. Then you can access the functions you've registered through the module, and that directly calls whatever you created. There's these bridging things. That's why I call this create bridge, by the way, because it's bridging between the two languages. So in mlua, you have the create function, and you set that into this table, creating the function. Not what I meant to go to. It takes a function that takes the interpreter and the arguments and returns a Lua result with something that can be turned into Lua. So something that implements to Lua or something like that, or yeah, Lua value. That allows you to have Lua call into Rust. So in this case, like I'm adding a function window that I'm using at the bottom here, then it's supposed to return a window that I can call run loop on. So the way I do it is we're exporting a function called window, which really calls window new, which calls window new in Rust and returns it. And that thing implements a user data with a method called run loop. So that when we get that user data out, we can call its run loop method, and it should enter here. And this I don't want. This is where I was going to put a copy of what I had in the main GUI. Essentially this. Paste it here. Really, I just want this part. It's this. And this part of it here, go here. This app new is what I want to copy out. What do we need from here? Nothing really. Okay, so yeah, that app new, I don't actually need anything. That's just the self part. But I think we're going to need to hold on to the event loop, right? So that is same as in here we have an event. Where's event loop? Not here, is it? Event loop proxy. Do I actually need that? Actually, I don't think I need that. I don't think I actually need to store the event loop proxy. I just need eventually to call event loop run app. Okay, that's why I want the event loop, because it's going to be I'm changing the wrong file. I guess I can do it all in run loop, right? I can just do it all here. So this app would be this, yes. So I don't do this part then. Don't need the loop, the event proxy. I just need this. Let's do that. And I just need to implement okay, for window. Don't need the event loop. What's wrong with this? Oh, yeah. Implement missing members. There we go. What's this event? Can I just say that we don't have an event type? We don't care? Yeah, that'll work. Mud engine and Rust win? Well, I can't do games, so sorry. Yeah. Where are we building programmable data parser? What are we building programmable data parsers? So all data, are we expecting like JSON? It's programmable in that you can describe the format in a language that I invented. So here's what JSON looks like. So an object has a brace with name value elements in a loop and then a closed brace. And a name value is a string name and a value. And a value is either an object, string, list, number. So if you know JSON, this hopefully sounds familiar, right? But this is all described in a parsing language I came up with, where it looks like data components look like functions, and you parse the data component by following the instructions like a program would follow statements from the first to the last statement in the function. So it's like look ahead one character, convert it back to a string. If it's open bracket, then parse it as an object, you know, etc. And these form building blocks. And then another example would be we have GIF. The GIF has a header and then a screen descriptor and then data blocks and a trailer. That's what I have on screen here. So GIF, there's the header part, then there's a screen descriptor with the width and height of the screen, and then there's a color table, and then there are data blocks with image data in it. So if you can describe the format in my format language, that's input to the program, and then it compiles that at runtime into a recipe that it uses then to bring in a second file, the actual data, and it uses the recipe to parse that data. That's basically what it does. So what I'm working on today is I have the ability to take the parser engine and essentially plug it into Lua as a module, and then we can use it in a script. So here's the script I'm working on. It's called Bridge because we're bridging between the parser written in Rust and the and Lua interpreter, and it is exposing a few different things. So you can take a file and turn it into a bit stream that the parser can understand. You can make the parser, which parses the format language. You can call ingest, which ingests data using the parser. And I just added window because I'm using this as a way to actually, I want to show a window on the screen and show the color table. Because what this script I've been building up is supposed to do is it's supposed to use the GIF format to read this POG slide GIF that I have in that folder, and it's grabbing the color table, and it's grabbing the first image, and right now we're printing the pixel values, but I want to actually show that on screen as an image. So this is as far as we've gotten so far. We have, I tell it it's not Ruby, but it's plain text. We can see the actual colors from that global color table, and then we can actually see the pixels as indices into that global color table, but the last step would be to actually plot that on the screen. So like hex editor, pattern language, and yeah, exactly. This me extensible terminal or something, an editor. Well, I'm just making libraries that I'm kind of using however I feel like it. So I have standalone GUI for the parser, and I also have a plugin for making scripts for it. And who knows what I'll make next. You'll have to wait and see. So yeah, what I'm trying to build up towards is I want to have a window and like give it the pixels to draw and just tell it to run. And this is purely just prototype work, because eventually what I want to do is in the GUI here, instead of when you hover over image data and it shows those raw pixel value indices, which is the same as what's shown in this output file down here, same data, I'd like it to actually like either show the image in the pop-up, or maybe you click something here and it shows like another window on top that actually shows the image, so that you can then say, oh, let me, and actually maybe return that all the way out the top so that you can hover over each of these and see the different frames of the animation. That's the ultimate goal, is that the tool has completely parsed and decoded the images, and then you can mouse over and show them. So I'm not going to get that all today, but I want to, what the stopping point for tonight is, I want to make sure that the plugin for Lua can actually make a window on the screen and run the event loop for the window. It's just going to be an empty window for now, and tomorrow we'll actually make the window plot something. So I'm just doing the minimal work, and I'm using winit in Rust to open a window and show it. So why can't it do this? Consider removing the reference, because it's already by reference. Oh, it's immutable? Oh, do we have to like add method mute or something? How does this work? Like if I want this to be mutable. Type. Oh, add method mute. Exactly. That's exactly what. So then I don't need that. It's just this, right? Okay, and then what? These errors. I'm gonna convert the error to a Lua error, because what's the type of this? Build returns an event loop error. Okay. I guess we gotta map the error. Map error. I guess we would do something like what we did before, right? Which is Lua error, runtime error. And then we just do format. Unable to build event loop. Then we just kind of format the error, the internal error there. Then I think I do the same thing here, right? No method name run app. Oh. Question mark is needed there. Okay, probably the same thing here, right? Yeah, it doesn't know how to convert the error. So we'll have to do a similar map error front of this question mark. So this will be unable to run app. It's not app though, it's like run window run loop. Run window run loop, unable to enter window run loop. Okay, yeah, and then this is probably telling me I don't even need to do this. Cool. So this should actually show a window on the screen. I just have to remember to build the thing, because I keep forgetting to do that. Yeah, good night, Nightshade dude. I'm not going to be streaming much longer. I need to go to sleep too, because I have to work tomorrow. I'm like already an hour over. I didn't expect to stream this long. It's already been like 2.5 hours, and I started an hour late. Really should have stopped like an hour or half an hour ago. But I kind of wanted to get somewhere, a good stopping point. The stopping point tonight is after printing out the pixels, can it actually open a window? I think this will. Actually, I think it's going to crash on the to-dos. Right? If I run this, it's probably going to crash on... Yeah, panicked with not yet implemented at line 24. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so we do need to implement... That's right. Resumed has to actually show the window, doesn't it? That's done here, right? Like resumed. Yeah, we have to do this thing. We have to do event loop, create window, and we want to hold on to it. Actually, does it even matter? What happens if we don't hold on to it? I think we have to hold on to it because eventually we're gonna have like a window event, right? Yeah, we're gonna want to look at our window and actually draw stuff later. Yeah, and we're gonna want to call exit on the event loop if close is requested. So back here, it's gonna look odd if this actually has a window in it, isn't it? It's gonna be like option w init window. Window? I guess it won't be too bad. So window right now is none. And then here it's going to be, I'm just going to shamelessly copy from my other program's app. So wherever we do the create window here. So yeah. Do I even need to put it into an arc? I don't remember why it's in an arc. I guess we'll do the same thing. There was some reason, and I just can't remember what it was. So then this will just paste that code, and then I guess we'll just say self.window equals that. For all these nice things like logical position and size. This is allowed to return something? Hold on. It is allowed to. What is that called by resumed? Oh, we would just do that. So, I guess we do unwrap or else, right? I guess we can do a e print. We can do the same thing that this other guy did. Just barf out what the error was and then tell the event loop to exit. And then ultimately, what do we need to do? This, actually, that should have just worked. The problem here. Expected an option. Oh, some. The print line, expected a window. Oh, guess we can just do unreachable. Or return. Return, what's the... Oh, we need to pull this out. So, do this. Let window equal that. Or actually better than that, we say let window equals, no, this is better. Why won't I, okay, because the returns inside function object. So really I don't want unwrap or else. I want to say like, let window equal like match this. And then like save that and then build match arms. And then if it's okay, it's just window. And otherwise it is this stuff. Their E goes there. And then, yeah, this is just successful, so put the window there. All right. So we create a window. If we couldn't, then we're early exiting, store the window. Hold on, the dog needs to go outside. I'll be right back. Yeah, just real quick, needed to let the dog out. Okay. Yeah, so let's handle minimally the window event we need to handle. Just match event. Well, okay, yeah. If we don't have a window, then we don't do anything. Otherwise, the match event. Build match arms. Here's all the different window events. Wow, there's a lot of them. The only one I really care about right now is close requested. I think I can remove that part and just say that everything else do nothing. And here we do event loop dot exit. What's the problem here? You seem to be trying to use a match. That's fine. Let it convert it into that. So yeah, technically we don't really need that, and we don't even really care about the window ID. We'll care about it later, but for now it doesn't matter. Don't need add fields yet. Could be a const function? Sure, make it a const function. I'm leaving those in for now. What's this one? Could be a const function. All right, let me just try this. Build it. Hello, kitty. Kitty's back. Run. Oh, look, it opened a window. We got a window. Woohoo! When I close the window, our script's done. Cool. It shouldn't say DataDisintegrator though, because let's have it pass in as an argument. How is this done exactly? What's args here? Okay, yeah, we do say the value and then I can decompose it that way. Okay. So, yeah, here the method was new. And yeah, I want to do let name, comma, equal args name. String. So then I can, oh, goodbye kitty. Not a thought behind those eyes. Why is it giving us side eyes? I don't know. I wanted the name string. Or really it's title. What's the problem here? The structure cannot be evaluated. Yeah, it's no longer const. Oh, hold on. Gotta let the dog back in now. Cat wants me to give her attention. Okay, yeah, I wanted the title in there because at some point we have this title here, so self.title. I forget, can it just borrow the copy? Yeah, it can. All right, so now it should say, that's weird. Oh, I didn't rebuild it. But yeah, we need to, we actually make a new one. Right here, we have to print image viewer. And then need to rebuild. Cool, so I got the title in there. See, it's not actually drawing anything because we're ignoring the draw event. So actually, to draw something, I'll need to pull in the, I want to eventually make an eGUI widget, so I could plug it into the GUI later. So I need to pull an eGUI and the backend, the WGPU backend, and all that junk, including setting up a surface and shaders and all that junk. So that's going to take more time than I have tonight. I think I'm going to end it here where I have proof of concept. I can open a window and show it as part of my script. And that's cool. So I'll be able to like prototype out the image viewer here with this Lua script and then eventually plug it back in. Kitty's back, by the way. So I think that's it for now. Let's send this out of the virtual machine and find someone else to raid. If anyone's actually still doing software dev, game dev tonight. Don't really see anybody. I think I'm just gonna leave you guys to pick the next person you want to watch and not force you to jump over to someone's stream. So I'm just gonna end the stream. It's gonna go real quiet. When that happens, please feel free to pick someone else to watch. I should be back tomorrow night, and I'll try to get this image viewer, see how far I can get making this image viewer tomorrow. Good night, Voidy. Good night, TS Just. And everyone else, all the lurkers. Thank you for watching. See ya. Bye.